Yeah.
Hey, good morning, fans of the Monday Movie Club. You're looking at the whole 5 of them right now. Um, this week, who is this? Was this Annie's suggestion? Annie? Yeah. Okay, Annie suggested we go to jail with the Shawshank Redemption from 1994. I'm Frank Gaffney. With us, as always, and you're still Joel from last week.
Yeah, I'm too sick to change anything.
But I see you have different seasons. Is that the novel that it's from?
Yeah, did you notice what's next to different seasons?
No, I can't tell what that
It's the
is.
Blu-ray for Shawshank.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there special events on it?
Special events? Yes. Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman play pickleball every Thursday. That's
Oh, and they're both still alive.
They are.
No, is there?
Yes, there are extras on the disc.
Oh, fun. Who else is here? Goldfuck and Cringer.
Hello.
Annie King 37927. Who's that?
That was his number in jail.
Andy? Yeah.
Wow.
And I like it, but I was thinking Les Mis. What was his?
Yeah.
246. Yeah.
24609. And Mark Wotis-Gartner has up the picture from the movie, so we know where this one's going. Anyway, Annie, why Shawshank Redemption?
Well, I'm a big Stephen King fan back in the day, and
Right.
this one was it written in pseudonym under Richard?
No, that was Richard Bachman. I don't think Different Seasons was.
No, different seasons. It's right here. It says Stephen King, different seasons.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed the story, and I mean, this came out much later, but I just thought it was a great movie. It just moved so nicely, and I always like movies that like show you what happens in a like a flashback of how he act. Yeah, no, I just loved it. So
it's called something, and Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, right?
Actually, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, not the Shawshank Redemption, just
Shawshank Redemption.
And Shawshank Redemption.
Now, I kind of remember reading it. I think I read it. Now, wasn't he there so long that the last poster was actually Linda Ronstadt? I was a fan of Linda Ronstadt at the time. All right. Anyways, because it was the 70s.
It's been a while.
Tim Robbins plays Andy Dufresne, who is sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison for the murders of his wife and her lover, which he didn't commit, because everybody in Shawshank is innocent. Once there, he meets Red, a lifer beautifully played by Morgan Freeman, who was not black in the novel. There's even a very funny exchange in the movie when he says, "Why are you called Red?" And he reads the actual line from the book. Maybe because I'm Irish.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Of course, there are so many memorable lines in this movie. One of which is, "Put your trust in the Lord, your ass belongs to me." Cracks me up. Love it. And Morgan Freeman narrating is just genius. It really is. Is this where he started doing narration, this movie?
According to someone's trivia, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He has the perfect voice. And quite frankly, okay, I didn't write down who the director is. What's his name?
Frank Darabont.
Wasn't it Frank Darabont?
Oh, Frank Darabont. His script is so beautiful. I don't know how much of it is actually Stephen King, but the language of it is just sometimes just made me smile so much, because using all those words, the 40s and 50s and all these tough guys, just beautifully done. And of course, then he gets to the prison, and we meet the sisters. And the head of the sisters could have been called Red.
Weren't they also called the Bull Dykes, I believe?
Were they?
Yeah. I don't remember hearing that.
I heard they said it twice.
Oh. And the leader of the sisters could have been called Red.
Yeah.
He's a Red. And And then Morgan Freeman says, "Prison is no fairy tale world." Well, might be a fairy tale world.
Right.
So that whole part of it is, I mean, obviously necessary, but the brutality of it all, great. And oh my God, James Whitmore, how did he not get nominated? He's so beautiful in this movie, and how lovely to include his story, because then we think when Red gets released, we think, oh my God, he's going to do the same thing. It's a beautiful thing. And then, again, so many beautiful moments, like when Red goes to the parole board and he has his whole little memorized speech. The first time we see it, he's all perky and doing it. The second time, his heart is not in it at all. He knows where it's going. And the third time, when he says, "Fuck this shit, motherfucker," is when they were like, okay, he's good to go.
Yeah.
Like, it was really so beautiful.
And seeing him after and how he could not acclimate back to society, I just love that it continued with that story.
Yeah. And parallel to the James Whitmore story. It's beautiful. So and then why does Andy give him a harmonica? It just made me think of every Carol Burnett prison sketch where Vicki Lawrence starts playing the harmonica.
Yeah.
She's like,
He
And
mentions
she didn't even have a harmonica.
yeah.
he mentions about music and how, you need it. And Red had said he used to play the harmonica when he was young.
I know, but it just was such a cliche of prison movies. Thank God he didn't play it.
He didn't play it though.
And what it made me think of something else. Oh, that Red is, a guy who can get things. Very funny.
Which again, we just saw as James Garner in The Great Escape.
Right.
That's what made me think of it.
Oh, a guy who can get things.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have to admit you missed it up a little bit when Red said, "I guess I just missed my friend."
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And then when James Whitmore is carving his name on the thing, you don't know what he's doing. I thought at first, I didn't remember. I thought maybe he was doing a hole to put the rope in. I didn't know what he was doing. And then it said Brooks was here. And then Red goes to the exact same room. And you think, oh my God, this is going to not end well.
And he just wrote "and Red too" or something, right?
Yeah, he wrote "and Red too."
God.
Yeah. Because he's going to leave as well. And, it really is a beautiful movie. And I've seen it maybe 5 or 6 times now. And I never think, oh my God, this is boring. I'm fast forwarding to this part. And even though it does move slowly, it doesn't feel slow, if that's what I mean. And everything about it is so beautifully plotted. And a lot of that obviously goes to Stephen King. But Frank Darabont's handling of it is just beautiful. And so this is another 4-star movie for me. And it's another one I really don't get tired of watching. Even this time, and I had just seen it last year for the Frankenlist, I was smiling so much of the time and just loving every minute of it. And I'm going to assume Mark Gardner feels the same way.
Yeah, this is in my collection. It's also a remote dropper. Back when we used to actually surf channels. I've seen it. I don't know how many times I've seen it, but it's definitely enough where I know the lines. And this came out obviously in 1994, and I know we've had discussions about should Forrest Gump have won? Should Pulp Fiction have won? I mean, on any other day, this one is right there. It's the three of them. To me, it should have been in different years. They all would have won. Joel, do you know, did this win any type of awards? It should have won.
0.
No.
Awards. That's
seven Oscar nominations, but no prizes.
Robbed. They got robbed.
They got robbed. Because I don't even like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, Forrest Gump has not stood the test of time in any way, shape, or form, and this movie got robbed. This and Pulp Fiction were the movies that to beat that year, and Forrest Gump just came in and.
All right, out of the three, I would actually choose Pulp Fiction as Best Picture.
That's fine.
I thought both Tim and Morgan were perfect. I don't think they've done anything better than this. This is their greatest role. And the rest of the cast too. The music, I love so much of it. I think that my favorite scenes are when Andy puts on the opera for everyone. That's just like a magical moment.
It's
And
a
of course,
little bit of stolen from MASH a little bit.
I never watched. I was a little bit under the radar.
Well, remember in
Underage.
MASH, the movie MASH, where he locks himself in the room and plays it over the speaker. Do you remember this? MASH the movie?
Joel.
Oh, me?
Joel.
You're talking to Mark. Yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember MASH the movie. I'm sure
So
it's
a little stolen from there.
But okay, but again, like you said, Stephen King also stealing, the guy who gets something and the putting, taking the dust and dirt from the wall and sprinkling it on the ground just out of The Great Escape too. So there was a couple of things stolen, but it still worked. And I'm just Andy's face, the way that they filmed it, the way he just turned it up when you think he's going to turn it off, it's fantastic. And then of course everyone, the best scene to me is the big reveal, especially the first time you're watching it, when you see how everything was done, and just then when he comes out, and of course the big standing in the rain.
Yeah, that's an iconic moment for sure.
100%.
But the funny thing was, I mean, again, we've all seen it. When he first gets the rock hammer and he's, scrapes on the wall and it seems a little soft, and we all go, yeah, we know.
Yep. I have one nit about the whole movie. When Andy was thrown into solitary for 2 months, I feel like given the wickedness of the warden and Clancy Brown, those two were real sons of bitches, and I feel like they would have tossed his room. They would have taken all this contraband as punishment. In which case, of course, they would have taken his poster, and he would have been revealed. And
Sure.
So that's my only part of the plot that I feel like I don't think that would actually happen. Having said
because they left all his posters up, like he was going to go back to his cell.
Well, yeah, and they gave him the cell, which I know that they would still give him the cell, but I feel like as punishment for calling him obtuse, and putting him in his place, they would have taken away his little chessboard. They would have taken away the.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think the punishment was being thrown in solitary. The rest of it's irrelevant. It's too much work for them to deal with tossing the cell and taking away his other stuff at that point. That's how I justify it. It's
sure, I get it. I just feel like he was such a vindictive bastard that it would have been just a little extra, just to really take away any type of fight in him. So anyway, even so,
well, Mark, just pretend it's a comic book and
just go
with it.
And I did mention before we started recording, when I searched for the picture to put behind me, there were like 6 or 7 different images of the two of them, and just looking at each other, playing chess across from each other. It was always just such nice pictures of two friends, and I didn't realize how many times it was done in the movie until I just looked at the pictures right before we started this. So excellent movie. I'm not going to go 4 stars. I'm going 3.75 just because I 4 stars to me is hard to do, but this is a fantastic movie that I will watch again next week.
Then it's a 4-star movie, you bastard. What constitutes a 4-star movie? Everything about it is perfect.
Boobs.
No, most of my 4-star movies have no boobs in it. No, it just has to be a true. I feel like same thing with and I like Forrest Gump better than you guys. So Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction. I don't know that I would give any. Maybe Pulp Fiction 4 stars, but I'm very selective with that.
Did we review Pulp Fiction? Do I need to look it up?
We never did it.
No,
Yeah?
We haven't done Pulp
Oh,
Fiction.
okay.
No.
Nor
Put that
have
on
we
your
done
list next year.
Joel, tell us a little bit about the extras on the DVD, the Blu-ray. Any tidbits we need to know?
Not really. It's there's nothing. There's 2 documentaries, a commentary, a Charlie.
Commentary by who?
It's by Darabont, and it's not on here.
Darabont. That's enough for me. Oh, it's got a booklet.
Yeah, this is the original Blu-ray release has a little booklet in it.
Is there a little hammer in it?
No,
I just saw the hammer. I just saw it.
There's a picture of the hammer, but it's not an actual hammer. Although that'd be cool, if they were still doing shit. Well, they they still do shit like that. But
there's a hammer.
Yeah.
Hammer.
I know Frank Darabont's on the commentary. I can't remember if anybody's with him. There's a documentary that was made in 2000 something, 2004, I think, when the Blu-ray came out. Um, and another retrospective one that was made like 10 years later, Charlie Rose interview.
And this is another movie I feel like it wasn't a big box office hit.
No, it wasn't.
And it really just gained momentum.
Well, that's the thing is that
Being shown on TBS and TNT every week.
Yeah, well, I mean, the nice thing is that, because it was Turner owned Castle Rock Productions by that point, it was easy for them to go, oh, hey, we can cheaply sell this to ourselves and run it 1,000 times. But even so,
Yeah.
it came out on home video in 1995. It was the #1 rental for like, a bazillion weeks in a row. For whatever reason that it didn't do well at the box office in theaters, it did infinitely much better.
I think this was actually a turning point. I think this was the point where the older consumers were like, I'll just wait till it comes. I'll watch it at my house.
That might have been part of it. The two documentaries and the commentary and the Charlie Rose interview. There's a lot of repetitive information between all of that stuff, and one of the things they all talk about in them is that they think the title was turned off by people. What
is that? Yeah.
The clam bake redemption. What is that? We don't know what the hell this is called. And they
I will admit, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have absolutely said I don't want to see that movie. I hate the title. I can't think of one, but it has absolutely happened.
And they didn't use Stephen King's full title because they figured people would be confused about, well, where's Rita Hayworth?
Oh, but also I think they didn't really play up the Stephen King part of it because they didn't want people thinking it was a horror movie.
Right, which in and of itself is a really unfortunate thing because Stephen King is an amazing writer, and yes, he tends towards horror 80% of the time, but his other stuff that is not in that vein is still great and amazing stuff. And this is,
I mean, obviously two of the best adaptations are not horror stories. The Body,
like Stand By Me and The Body.
Yeah.
Yes, and the books are so great, really. And when they make the movies, they're just terrible.
Yeah.
The writing is fantastic.
And that's the thing, at least with Frank Darabont. This is Frank Darabont's technically his second Stephen King adaptation, because the first thing he did was he did a short film based on The Woman in the Room, and it's an amazing short film. And he went on to do Green Mile and The Mist, and he knows Stephen King. He knows how to capture King's cadence, the feel of a Stephen King book. And that's not to say that this is like a 100% faithful adaptation. Nothing ever is, but it is so damn close. It feels like it, and it's just perfectly cast, amazingly well written. As you said, Frank, it never feels slow. It moves slowly, but it never feels slow.
That's definitely one of the things I love about this movie. It has all the room for it to breathe as a story, and
it tells the story the way it needs to be told. And and I think Darabont did some really great stuff in expanding and condensing things from King's original story. I mean, in King's story, and I did find it. Yes, the final poster was Linda Ronstadt. But in King's story, there are 3 wardens across the time that the story takes place, and he condensed them all into one.
Yeah.
Whereas
I think that's a necessary element. You need more depth.
Or things like Brooks's story, it's like a paragraph and a half in the novel, in the novella, and here Brooks is, he's set up as an important character, and he gives a really great
depth to it. He gives a depth to it.
Yeah.
And when you have James Whitmore, you're not going to just do a paragraph.
Exactly.
And he really is so beautiful with the bird and oh my God.
It's the fact that he wasn't nominated as well is, and I don't remember who was nominated in Best Supporting Actor that year at this point, but it's a wonderful film. I think it's when we joke about the concept of a bromance, this is definitely, the best example of it. You point to this. That's what bromance is. It's these two gentlemen spending all this time in prison, getting to know each other and becoming the friends that they become. And it is just, it's a brilliant movie. Obviously, I'm giving it 4 stars.
Wait, I'm a little bit of squirrel today. We had this week we go to trivia every week, and this week was Halloween themed trivia. The final question was, put these 4 Stephen King movies in the order they were released.
Okay.
All right, you want to play along?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to write them down because I forgot. Sorry.
It's only our one fan at this point, so.
No, who cares? We're just chatting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck them all.
Okay, I don't remember the 4th one. We'll come back to it.
I just will quickly
add. Oh, now I
it.
got it. Okay, I got it now. Okay. All right, here they are. Dolores Claiborne, Misery, Pet Sematary, and The Running Man.
Okay, so here's the problem. Which
Joel, you keep quiet.
Well, but no. There's an important question for everybody else. Which version of Pet Sematary?
Oh, the first one. Come
on.
They're all around the same time.
Yeah, that's tough.
Nobody?
What was the last one?
I was told I'm not allowed to play.
Dolores Claiborne, Misery, Pet Sematary, The Running Man.
I go with The Running Man, Pet Sematary, Misery, and Dolores Claiborne.
I like that.
I like Misery coming in number 2, not number 3. So just flip those.
Flip Pet Sematary and Misery?
Yeah.
Joel?
I think Annie is correct. If I remember correctly, it should be The Running Man is 87, Pet Sematary is 89, Misery's 91, and Claiborne is 94, 3, 2. Yeah.
That is correct.
Good job, Annie.
Oh,
wow.
All right, 4 teams got it right.
Wow.
We were not one of them.
Wow.
And we lost. We were in first place and we lost because the other 4 teams bet 20 points. I know it matters.
That's funny.
It's funny. All right, Goldfuck.
The one thing I was going to quickly add is that
you gave it 4 stars. Your turn is over.
Okay.
Joel, I relinquish the floor to you.
No, that's okay. I'll come back later.
You abstain courteously.
I abstain courteously.
Ms. Annie Chung King to my right, probably above
37927.
37927. She's the one who introduced me to Stephen King in 1981. And I bought Cujo and carried that book around with me, the hardcover, everywhere I went. And I was like, this is the most amazing writer. I'm going to read everything he's ever written. I'm going to read his autobiography. I got his calendar. I just was in love with him. So, of course, I actually had different seasons. And when I was working at the bagel store, somebody asked me, and it might have been Lee Solomon. Somebody asked me if they could borrow the book. I said, yes, but please give it back. Never got it back. That was
bastard.
Yeah. So of course, when the movie,
Lee, if you're watching right now,
when the movie came out 12 years later, I was like, oh my God, I have to see it. Of course, I loved it at the time. I had seen it many times, but just like so many movies that we have discussed that I've said, I've seen this movie so many times, but it's been decades since I've seen it. So it was like a whole new movie to me. Just like the first time I saw it, though, I knew how it was going to end. So that was like, oh my God, it's a big hole and nobody knows it. And I love how so early on he scrapes and the wall breaks. And you never think of that again because it takes 2 hours and 20 minutes for this movie to go.
Wait, but here's the thing. I thought they showed it then too. They don't show it actually breaking until the big reveal at the end. It only shows you putting his first, the part of his A in there.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more that comes off of that. Yeah. Not a lot, just enough to go. There's something. There's a hint of something.
Oh no! When you watch it the first time, you don't even think anything.
Not at all. Not at all. It's just fabulous. Yeah. I love.
Okay, maybe it could have been a little shorter when the warden threw the pebbles at the picture. I'm like, oh, we know you're going to do that.
Yeah. And speaking of that, like you've all said, the movie is 2 hours and 22 minutes long, and it feels like a 90-minute movie. It's slow because of the progression, but it's beautiful. And there's never a moment where I thought, okay, let's go. Except maybe when the warden was going around. But Juan Perón, who doesn't love a Juan Perón?
Right,
Oh
exactly.
my God, he was terrific. I just wanted him to start singing. And I loved how Andy told Red, go here, go under this tree, you're going to find something. And you're thinking, if you don't remember or have never seen it, 19 years later, that thing has been sitting there and it's still there. And then the letter says, Dear Red. So he knew he was going to get out first and plant it there.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. And then the way it ended, I think it was Nan who said to me yesterday when she asked me what movie it was, she said, oh, what a depressing movie. But the ending is beautiful when they're reunited. Oh, it's not depressing.
I love the ending.
Beautiful.
Love it.
And the ending, Frank Darabont's script does not actually contain that ending. It ends with Red on the bus, and you don't actually see them get together. And the studio head's like, no, you have to shoot this extra scene.
Right.
They
Yeah.
have to get back together.
Yeah. They were like, we'll give you a week's vacation in the Bahamas. Just go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you would have left that out, boy, that's a quarter of a star would have been lost. Because then you're like, what happened? That you need that after 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I think I've said it all. We've all said it all. 4.5 stars.
That makes up for
Stephen
Mark.
King.
It makes up
Yeah.
for Mark.
All
Okay,
right,
I'll do 4.25.
I'm changing it. I'm going to 4 stars. Fine.
Yay! You bully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like Siskel bullied Ebert one time.
No, I'm one of the sisters. He's just afraid I'm going to rape him when this is over.
It's true.
So, Annie, we now agree that it's a 4-star movie. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, and anytime that we're flipping and it comes on, we watch it, and it's fun to watch things from the beginning because I always miss like the first 30 minutes of the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
So it's nice to go back to the beginning and watch it, and you really have to think, was he going to kill them? What was he thinking and stuff? So that was cool.
And the fact that we learned that he was innocent and the warden said, yeah, I don't care. And he said to the guy, do you swear to admit to him that, to court? And he said, yes, I swear it. Boom, you're dead. Oh, God, Juan, why are you doing this to me?
And what happened to Gil Bellows, that poor guy?
Exactly.
He had a little bit, he was on Ally McBeal and then disappeared.
Oh.
Well,
Anyway,
one of my favorite lines was when he says, I'd like to think that the last thing that went through his head other than that bullet
Yeah.
was to wonder how the hell Andy Dufresne ever got the best of it. That line cracks me up all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, yeah.
And that's another moment of Frank Darabont just making such beautiful choices, because you'd think at first he's going to shoot the guards, but then then he just puts it here. Another just beautiful moment. You don't think I certainly remember the first time not even remotely thinking he was going to kill himself.
Yeah.
So.
Well, my take on that is that he does kind of point it out. I think he makes a split second decision. Yeah. He was going to fight it out, and then And by the way, Annie, same thing for me. I must have seen this movie 5-6 times before maybe buying the DVD and then watching it straight through. And I had no memory of the beginning of him being drunk in the car. I was like, that's how it starts. So same thing.
Yeah. So 4 stars. And like I said, anytime it's on, we'll stop and just watch from wherever it is. And we'll just watch it, and it just flows so beautifully.
And so many of the actors in the movie went on, obviously, to do bigger things. I mean, even Paul McCrane is one of the guards. Just miss him. And
but Paul McCrane was already, isn't he already big from like RoboCop? Wasn't RoboCop way before 1994?
Yeah, but when he showed up, I know him from ER. So when I went back and rewatched RoboCop and rewatched this movie, I was like, oh shit, it's Rocket Romano,
For me, it was always, oh shit, it's the guy from RoboCop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nobody's going, oh, it's the guy for the kid from Fame.
Oh, that's right. That's
right. Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
God.
So, this was a little bit of obviously led to ER for him. So good for him. So, yeah. So we all love this movie. You definitely should watch it. If not, own it. I mean, I own it for sure.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
Just to what I was going to say earlier was that the
Yeah, sidebar from Joel.
the different seasons collection, it's a great collection of 4 novellas, 3 of which have been made into movies: Shawshank Redemption, Apt Pupil, and Stand By Me is the Body. And unfortunately, they have yet to make The Breathing Method into a movie, but I'm sure at some point someone will get to it.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about Apt Pupil.
I
But,
remember loving the novella, not loving the movie, but
I like
loved
them. I liked the movie when it came out. The further we get from it, the harder it is to watch, just because of Bryan Singer and some of his behind
and
the
what's
scenes antics.
Breathing Room?
Wait,
The
was
Breathing
it
Quick
wasn't
synopsis.
Apt Pupil like really much darker as the book than the movie? I don't
Um,
remember. Is it that heavy with the surprising of Nazis and all?
Well, yeah, no, it follows the same thing. The movie condenses everything into like one summer, whereas the book stretches it out over like years.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Well, I think the mistake there really was the marketing of that movie. They
Oh,
really
sure.
should have sold the lampshades. All right, Joel, what's the 4th story?
The
Give us a
Breathing
brief-
Method.
What? Yeah, but what it's about? I don't remember.
It's basically about a doctor who has this breathing method for when women give birth, and it involves a woman who he is helping give birth, but it's not a natural birth, and she's decapitated before she gives birth. I don't want to give anything else away. It's an interesting story. So.
I would read it if I had the book.
Lee, send her the book.
But I think it would be interesting to see, if they ever made that into a movie, to do the thematic aspects that collected them into a book work as film.
Yeah, and then they could put it on the CD DVD collection.
Yes, except it's competing studios, and that would never happen.
Oh.
So.
All right, so we all agree it's a 4-star movie. Haha, Mark. The Shawshank Redemption is not on the usual streaming services, but it's on TNT every week, right? You can rent it for $3.79
Not
from
this
Prime.
week, though.
Yeah. See, you do not own this movie?
I do not own movies.
And not any of them? Not even digitally?
No,
When you buy them, you just rent them.
I just rent them.
Aye, aye, aye. Okay, next week we're watching yet another classic, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. It's from 2017. This is Mark's recommendation, but that one's available on Hulu if you subscribe to that service.
Is that the first Jumanji?
No.
The first in the reboot.
The first one with The Rock, not with Robin Williams.
Oh, okay.
No.
Technically, it would be the 3rd movie in the series.
Oh, so it's not a remake of the first one?
No.
Hold on. No, it's not a remake. It's definitely in the future. But it should only be the 2nd one. What else is in there?
Oh, if you don't know, I'm not telling you.
There's another Jumanji
To
in
be
the
continued
middle.
next week.
Right. Okay. I am Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
And also with you. And you.